and thanks for joining the Smash stream, Smash team. We're going to keep this one short today. A lot of stuff to cover. We're going to give you 1 minute of lead time. Please tell your friends and foes to join the live chat. Again, we'll be back in 1 minute. All right, let's get this live stream started. We see at 193 angstroms, we see that sunspot 2744 has evaporated. That's now gone. We see a small coronal hole just north of that now plage, located right where my pointer is. And we have a Saturn opposition happening today. And let's look at some more views of the sun here before we move on. This is 8.5 hours of colored magnetogram. Take a close-up of that former sunspot, which has again now decayed into a plage. So some activity in front of it there also, something to keep an eye on throughout the day. And when I say eye on, pun intentional. Welcome viewers, Mission Control, Dick Duscher, and Mary Wright. One more view here, my personal favorite, 171 angstroms. As that active region sets in the west, out here, you see some more activity popping up here just in front of that former sunspot group 2744. Otherwise, very weak solar activity, 10.7 centimeter radial flux down to 67. And let's move on to the real-time solar wind. Now, we saw a sudden uptick last night. The Earth got hit by a coronal mass ejection that nobody was expecting, and it wasn't reported on until it hit. So this is the area where that happened, right in here, actually, where the solar wind speed went up to about 430 for a very brief period, and now has leveled back off to more solar minimum style conditions. Solar wind density has remained slightly elevated. Phi angle has calmed down a little bit, and the BZ has just dropped into negative territory again. Current solar wind speed is around, looks like it's, we're going to look at that in a different one. I'm not sure where that is, folks. That's more like, it's about 400 kilometers per second, middle of that graph there. So solar wind density real low here. Well, more nominal than it was, about 4 protons per cubic centimeter and 400 kilometers per second for the speed. Planetary locations, let me refresh that. Again, Saturn opposition happens today. If you want to read about that, check out the in-the-sky.org article we have listed in the description about Saturn in opposition. It occurs at 16:55 UTC, which is 12:55 my time zone, very close to noon, so it'll be very close to the sun in the sky from my location. Would be a great thing to view with a solar filter, although you won't be able to see Saturn. We also have a link to the Himawari satellite. We know flat earthers love this one, so we've left links to this site also, courtesy Japan Meteorological Agency. And this thing has stopped playing for some reason. It's going to take forever to load, so let's just say that before that causes the internet to bind up like somebody who's eaten too much cheese. Here's the location of the stars above my head. Where were you when Deneb rose? It's been up there for months. Anyway, I like to draw in the ecliptic and face mine south as my sofa faces that way. So check out in-the-sky.org. We'll look at stereo A. It looks like the this plasma plume here has depleted a little bit. Whether it retreated or advanced is anybody's guess. We'll show you the data and move on. Has it depleted or receded or advanced? Still just looks like it's pulsing all over the place. And again, it looks like there's some activity rising there in front of that sunspot group. So something to keep your eye on throughout the day. And let's move on. We showed some interesting magnetosphere movies last night. I'll show you a clip right after this. Here's the current pressure. This is the last 4 hours. We see some fluctuations there, but nothing like the sudden hit we saw last night as we went from a KP of 0 to a KP of 4. And here's the density. Again, last 4 hours. Low density shown in white, high density shown in navy blue. And we do see some fast fluctuations there in the solar wind density reflected on the magnetosphere movie video. Keep in mind, this is a model courtesy University of Michigan. I just wanted to show you a little diagram here of Birkeland currents and what's happening at this point here. There is an electrical current that, if you're looking down it, would look like this, where my pointer is. And you would see co-rotating fields inside of that current. And then this splits into more or less field-aligned currents as one's going to be slightly stronger than the other one. And it's going to cause current to flow in both directions through the planet. Now, I've drawn these in blue and red to match with coloration of things like solar polar fields, positive and negative. But we're going to leave positive and negative out of this because of things like polarity changes. This applies regardless of polarity. So also, if you're feeling artistic, please don't screw up the drawing, but we have left a link to this also. This is actually a public whiteboard. So the link to this is in the description below the video. And let's look at the ground perturbations that we've explained the way the current travels through the planet, which is where the Earth's B field comes from. So here's a geospace delta B model looking at ground magnetic perturbations, and we saw some crazy ones last night. We're going to show you those just after this also. These took place right before midnight universal time. So we're going to show you some 9-hour-old screen grabs in just a minute. And there's that. This has calmed down a lot, although we do see some significant movement all around the oceans, as well as central South Pole area and Alaska, eastern US, eastern Canada. So lots of perturbations. Let me bring up the video from last night you may have missed. Play a clip from that. I'll just let this play through. It's only 2 minutes and 24 seconds long, folks. Pardon the clicking, folks. Anyway, here's the movies from last night. You can see the timestamps up here. So there's the pressure. Extreme effect from those sudden striations in the solar wind there, bouncing off the magnetosphere. And then finally sort of replenishing a more normal situation. Here's the delta B that we just looked at. You're going to see some extreme changes in this at the same time as that current flows through the entire planet. There it goes. And when looking at this from the poles, this actually looks like a spiral. In fact, it might even be visible right now. Let's go back to the magnetosphere movies and look at the polar view for once. Usually don't look at the polar view, although you will see evidence of these Birkeland currents in this view very clearly, as the perturbations in both poles, especially the south pole, will tend to look like a current, as the south pole is a little bit more consolidated than the north pole. You should be able to see a spiral with the center right about here. And so the next time we get a big perturbation in this, I'll capture this for sure. You can see a bit of a spiral sort of a formation there, but anyway, it was blatantly visible last night when we took that that extreme hit in the magnetosphere. So figured I'd show you that in case you didn't watch it. So thanks, patrons. We've been putting a whole bunch of stuff up on here. Some stuff is publicly visible. Some stuff is early release for paid patrons, late release for non-paid patrons. So check out the links in the description for that stuff. And thanks for visiting Hemp Lucid. Also, links in the description for this, the Spaced Out campaign, specifically for our spaced out viewers. Sales going on for CBD products. So if you're into CBD products, please purchase them through our affiliate link and help to keep our operation in existence, or at least publicly visible. Also, check out our cycling sponsor, theveloshop.net. That's theveloshop.net. Official bike shop of the Lehigh Valley Velodrome. I'm probably going to pay a visit there today, as I am in the process of trying to get a new bottom bracket for my road bike. So I'll be riding my time trial rig with a full disc wheel. Anyway, if you're a prepper, if you don't have a bike in your arsenal, you need to upgrade your arsenal. How about a mountain bike, like a hardtail, which is what I raced on when I began my mountain bike racing career, which happened in 1997. Check out the felt Doctrine, the Doctrine NX Eagle. And it is not made of carbon. Yes, it is carbon. Wow. Hey, that's not bad. $2,000. Anyway, theveloshop.net, especially if you're in the market for a bike. Also, thanks for those of you who are supporting us via PayPal donations. Check out the original music if you enjoy it. SoundClick and SoundCloud, links in the description of that. Soundclick.com/GoldenCatProductions, as well as, I don't know, soundcloud.com/Daniel-Nigrev-2. That's a catchy URL, isn't it? Look at some more data. Thanks to Ben Davidson, spaceweathernews.com. X-ray flux still flatlined. Again, 10.7 centimeter radial flux down at 67, which is a solar minimum condition. You don't have to have any X-ray flares to have coronal mass ejections, as we demonstrated last night, as the Earth was hit by one. There's the magnetometer spikes. And there's the sudden KP0 to KP4. Electron flux back to very low levels, very, very low levels. And we have some charging hazards despite that. So check it out, folks. Very low electron flux, charging hazards indicated regardless. Looks like southern Florida even, Cuba, and some Central America and southern South America charging hazards. F2 layer is pretty anomalous right now. There's a bit of a nighttime charging bridge going on, and that's not particularly surprising considering what we just saw with the charging hazards. All right. Here's the aurora forecasts. Let's get to more stuff, as there's quite a bit of stuff to cover yet. And I don't know why I'm even on this site. I should have closed that tab. I apologize. Here's a synoptic map indicating some filaments. We'll look at 304 angstroms when we close out the video. There's former sunspot 2744, as well as the coronal hole we indicated earlier in the 193 angstrom view. Here's the gong 2. And the extreme magnetometer spikes involve that boundary crossing, as well as the coronal mass ejection hit. That was the co-rotating region we were talking about, as we went from the North Solar Polar Field associated portion of the current sheet indicated here in green to the South Pole associated portion of the current sheet noted here in red. So that we're expecting that magnetometer to chill out. And again, watching those active regions ahead of the former sunspot group. Here's Peter Sagan making an onion face about his skin suit at the Tour de France. And here's some of the ground perturbations we put up on Instagram.
Going to stop heat waves, droughts, floods, tornadoes.
With Tony Heller talking in the background.
The worst of which, like heat waves and droughts, were
so anyway, follow us on Instagram.com/SmAsho. If you like. You'll see some behind-the-scenes stuff for sure. It does not focus on space weather exclusively. Also, check us out on Twitter if you like. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on gab.com/smAsho. Check us out on minds.com/smAsho. The open source social media that will not censor you, on which we have 466,000 views, folks. Also, please press like and subscribe to our channel, and thanks to our 3 new subscribers. Cheers. We appreciate that, and let's go to earthquakes. We're only doing 4s and up. It could take a while. We got a 4.3 in Mexico. Got a 4.1 in Chile. And I'm serious. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit this mouse with a sledgehammer after I get the new one. Maybe I'll make a video about that. Here's a 4.5 at Japan. 34 kilometers depth. As California continues to get hit with thousands of aftershocks, which could go on for weeks, by the way, folks. Here's a 4.5 in Kamchatka. Looks like it's just off the coast there. No big deal. They get hit with quakes constantly. Shout out Eastern Russians if you're watching the video. What are your thoughts on fake news? Please leave a comment. See a 4.4 in Indonesia, a 4.7 at Japan, a 5.8 at Indonesia, Basically an earthquake downtick, folks, besides the constant quakes in Southern California in the Mojave Desert. Please leave a comment if you've been there. If you got photos, leave links, whatever. We'll feature, if you got information, photographs of a cracked road or something, we'll feature. The 5.0 in Indonesia, 4.4 Mexico. That one's at depth. Heads up, Mexico. You could get a larger quake at the surface as a 105.9 kilometer deep quake. Could be the indicator that you'll have something like a 4.9 at the surface. How about a 4.8 in Indonesia? They probably shrugged that off. Here's a quake in a kind of an odd location, 4.8 northern mid-Atlantic ridge there. Those used to be rare. Now they're pretty common. 4.5 in Indonesia. So a bunch of quakes in that same spot there. 4.0 at Peru at depth. Heads up for anomalous low pressure zones there. That's a deep quake. You could get a larger quake at the surface. 4.9 at Indonesia. Shout out Indonesian viewers. If you're watching from Indonesia, please leave a comment. If you're viewing from the Andromeda Galaxy, please leave a comment. And here's a deep quake in Afghanistan. So we've got 3 different spots here. Mexico, South America, and Afghanistan showing deep quakes. All possibilities for larger quakes there. We'll look at the pressure map right after this. There's a 4.3 at Anchorage. Please leave a comment if you are a salmon fisherman watching this video from a boat. How about a 4.6 at Indonesia? Yeah. Argentinian quake there, also at depth. Looks like the largest quake we've seen is a 5.2 at New Zealand in that oceanic rift zone, where we saw a 7 come out of the ocean and produce no tsunamis. And for that, we thank you. Here's windy.com. I would note that there's practically no discernible jet stream in the northern hemisphere. However, the southern hemisphere jet stream is pretty it's a bit meridional. It's pretty strong, but we're going to use this to look at pressure maps. And we'll let this play through for about 24 hours here to see if there are any anomalous lows that we can see. When you see a low pressure system moving from east to west instead of west to east, that's anomalous, notwithstanding oddities in the jet stream where convective forces rule the atmosphere. I can't really give you any more of a weather lesson than that, folks, but there's the pressure situation. If you recognize an anomalous low pressure zone, be prepared for an earthquake, especially if you saw a deep quake. Phys.org article claims 11% chance of another huge earthquake in Southern California, according to scientists. So Southern California could get the big one, and we're talking about like an 8 or a 9 magnitude quake. And we certainly hope something like that doesn't happen. Links to this article in the description below the video as well. Volcano rundown. Sanjiang Api, producing a 10,000 foot ash plume there. Popocatépetl, possible volcanic ash exhalation. As Popocatépetl has shut down, it's been exploding for days and weeks. Revenador looks like it is chilling out too. Small exhalation, apparently. Sabancaya is still exploding. And oh man, check this one out. A volcano in Ethiopia. African Rift Zone quake. Volcano. Check it out. No significant changes have occurred during the past weeks. The flank eruption, which had started in early 2017, is still ongoing, gradually enlarging the vast new lava flow field in the southern eastern flanks. Here's a video of the evolution. Oh, this is going to be amazing. This is from 2017 until pretty current, I think, sometime this year. That's the Ale volcano. That is a catchy name. The Ale volcano. See these cracks forming in the upper right, as well as temporary lava lakes there forming. And it looks like a bunch of sulfur. Nice. A little more geoengineering for you folks. The real kind. U.S. Doppler radar indicating some significant convergence zones there, especially over Kansas and Nebraska. The one over Minnesota looks like it's chilled out a little bit. And there could be some Sasquatch activity. Let us know if you're involved in a Sasquatch party boat off the coast of California here. That could certainly be a Sasquatch fog. I'll leave a comment if you've been abducted by people who look like Wookiees and who communicate using only psychic transmissions and, of course, are from a different plane of existence. We're not going to zoom in on that. Although check out lightningmaps.org if you're in some place like Lincoln, as there's thunder rolling in. Beatrice, Nebraska, you got thunder rolling in. So check out lightningmaps.org. I'll bet you're not there, though. Anybody watching from Beatrice, please leave a comment. And if you're watching from Greenland, please leave a comment. Hey, look, a rogue lightning strike right there in the middle of the ocean by itself. Just showed up on the stream. Check it out. Anyway, if you're on Greenland, please let us know if there are 9 feet of snow where you are. And we are getting rogue lightning strikes in the middle of the ocean, not associated with any other storms. Let's zoom into this convergence zone as it looks beastly. And we like to show our viewers a little bit of weather porn every day. And then we open up the chat. This is the water vapor map. I'm just going to scroll down the comments, folks. I already read most of these. And thanks, everybody, for joining. Cheers. And we're just looking for evidence of those rogue lightning strikes, folks. Looking for big water vapor plumes up there in the North Atlantic. I do see some funky convergences going on there from about where those lightning strikes just were, which is why I made it only a 20 image run. Anyway, let's just animate the whole thing. In fact, better yet, let's do a shortwave. Show you the whole cloud layer. Actually, it won't really show you the whole cloud layer. Let me clarify that. It's a pretty good proxy for the cloud layer. This is the NASA GOES interactive weather satellite, by the way. And we do get distortions because of the day-night terminators, folks. We do see an anomaly right here. Let's see, right about there. Probably just a Borg cube flying past or something. Nothing to worry about. See that little rectangle there? Probably just a Borg cube, right where my pointer is. I could stop it on that frame, but I don't want to cause an internet meltdown catastrophe. And we've moved on to that is an ass and that is a hole in the ground. Seriously, look at that hole in the ground. I don't remember where that's from. I think that's actually a sinkhole in a city somewhere. And that's quite a sinkhole. It seems like something you'd see from the movie Dune.
Capsaicin
is extremely good for you. So you should try to consume some capsicum, which is any of a genus of tropical American herbs and shrubs of the nightshade family, widely cultivated for their many seeded, usually fleshy walled berries, also called peppers, like as in hot peppers. They don't upset your stomach, folks. If you're getting acid reflux, capsaicin does not cause acid reflux. Capsicum is also an oleoresin derived from the fruit of some capsicums that contain capsaicin and related compounds, and is used medicinally, especially as a tropical pain reliever. I mean topical pain reliever, whether you're in the tropics or at the South Pole. In fact, you can use capsaicin as a stomach remedy. It will cure your upset stomach. Link to this article also, 15 uses medical style of cayenne pepper. I'm shopping for a 3 to 10 pound container of this. Last time I bought cayenne pepper, I bought 5 pounds of it. And here's 15 medical uses: heart health, digestive health, circulatory system, antibacterial agent, metabolic booster, migraine prevention, pain relief, prostate cancer fighter, weight loss benefits, promotes longevity, for sore throat, skin health, relieves joint and muscle pain, supports detoxification, and also these other things listed here, such as effective against anorexia, vascular troubles, liver congestion, heartburn, gum stimulation, preventing pyorrhea. It's helpful for a tonic gut, dropsy, paralysis, tympanitis. It's even good for treating flatulence. Perhaps we should start feeding it to cows to reduce their methane production. And it is about that time, folks. In fact, we're so quick that let's cover cosmic rays. Here's the Apatity neutron monitor. Recent dip there. And a recent dip in cosmic rays at Barentsburg as well. Let's look at Athens. Trading range there for neutrons. Trading range. Pardon my financial terms. I used to be a day trader. Mexico City Cosmic Ray Observatory. Little downtick there, similar to Barentsburg and Apatity. Moscow, often showing wild fluctuations, but down in the past day or so. Finally, we'll look at Oulu, Finland. And thanks, Ulla Udrup, for teaching me how to pronounce Oulu, Finland. There's Oulu, here's DOMC Antarctica, and here's DOMB Antarctica. Nothing to write home about there. One last thing, let's make a little comment. Shout out Anomalous Howard. Here are the solar polar fields, and we are waiting for this to be updated, as the last update was on, oh geez, what is that date? In February. So I'm not going to research this right now, but these are the real indicators of the solar activity. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the solar polar field reversal right now, but if you want to go read all about it, check out solon.info/solar, and you'll have links to all of this stuff. So thanks again, everybody, for joining the smAsho stream. We're going to look at one bonus view here in 304 angstroms, and then we're going to vacate the studio. I almost said premises, but I don't have to go that far yet. It's coming. Studio where I don't live is coming. Anyway, there's a 304 angstroms view. We do see some filaments noted on the synoptic map. And gonna keep an eye on these active regions throughout the day. And gonna ride a time trial bike up a brutal 4-mile climb. Maybe I'll make a video including the inside of the velo shop. Perhaps. So anyway, stay tuned. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks, donors, subscribers, etc. Remember, when you're staring at the sun, don't drink it. If you drink, stare at the sun anyway. Just don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.